We've been talking about different kinds of vegetables on the show this time, but do you find yourself serving the same kind of produce again and again? Want to try something different? How about a vegetable that early Italians called flowered cabbage? It's not as popular as its green cousin broccoli, but cauliflower packs a wallop when it comes to great nutrition. So how to serve it? Sharon Profus is in the kitchen with some tasty ideas.
I almost always have cauliflower in my fridge. It has a really subtle flavor that you can use in a lot of ways. So today we're making a cauliflower and chorizo frittata that comes together really fast. When you're shopping for a cauliflower, there are a couple of things to look out for. First, make sure that its leaves are bright and green and that this part is really firm. That means it's fresh. You also want to look out for a cauliflower that's pretty heavy for its size. This one is small, but it's heavy, so I know it's good. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cauliflowers are really messy. If you cut them the wrong way, you'll end up with a bunch of little crumblies all over your cutting board. So I want to show you a trick to breaking down a cauliflower so that it's really clean. The first thing to do is remove these stems. I'm just going to put my knife in there and just help it get away from the cauliflower head. And it should pop out just like that. Now at this point you can pick off whatever leaves are left, and we're going to remove the florets from the inside out. So grab your knife and then pop them out just like that. For the frittata though, I don't want these big sections. The way you cut it in half is not through the top, it's through the stem. And that way, it'll split on its own. And again, no crumblies. We'll put them right in the pan. When you go to the farmer's market or the grocery store, you might see cauliflower in a variety of colors. There's orange, that's also called cheddar cauliflower, and there's even purple and green, which is actually Romanesco, a cross between broccoli and cauliflower. Also going into the frittata is a minced garlic clove, some cilantro, and green onion, which will complement the chorizo very nicely. Now that our ingredients are prepped, we can move over to the stove to make our frittata. We can't just put the cauliflower raw into the frittata. What we first have to do is steam it to soften it a little bit, since it needs a little bit longer to cook. So I have in here our cauliflower, some water, and to make sure that the cauliflower doesn't lose its color, just a little bit of salt. So I have it over high heat, and we'll let it steam until it just starts to soften. When the cauliflower just starts to break apart with a spoon, then it's done. So I'm going to transfer it to a plate so that we can saute our chorizo. We'll do about half a cup. And chorizo is basically just ground pork seasoned with a bunch of spices, which is great because that's gonna take care of our seasoning for this dish. So just break it apart with a spoon. Now it's time to add the garlic. You never add it too soon, otherwise it might burn. And all we're looking for here is for the chorizo to be just cooked. Now we can add our cauliflower back into the mix, get it a little bit brown. Oh my goodness. I could eat this like this right now. We already prepared our green onion and cilantro, but to that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I'm also adding a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese to the mix, reserving a little bit more to sprinkle on the top. And now we'll add 6 eggs. Hit it with a little salt, scramble them up. Make sure this is all evenly distributed so that every piece gets an equal bite of chorizo and cauliflower. And goes into the pan. Before it has too much time to set, you can take a moment to make sure that there's egg everywhere in all the little nooks and crannies. Still have cheese left, so sprinkle that Parmesan right on top. I also want a little gooey effect, so I'm adding mozzarella cheese to this. All right, that's enough cheese. So we'll let this cook on the stovetop for about 5 minutes so that the bottom sets, and then it goes into the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 minutes until it's no longer liquidy and you have a beautiful frittata that's ready to be served immediately. Check out this stunning frittata. All the colors from the chorizo and the green onion and the cilantro. And I love how some of the cauliflower is just peeking up. So let's serve this up. And there you have a one-pan meal that's so satisfying and really highlights just how amazing cauliflower is. And now all that's left to do is eat.
Now that you're set to include cauliflower in your dinner plans, let's give you some advice on how to handle the veggie after you head home from the supermarket. Food experts suggest that the best way to keep cauliflower fresh is to store it unwashed in a plastic bag in your refrigerator. They also suggest you store the cauliflower with the head turned down.